Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for watching. I forgot to announce this live, sorry about that, but it is Monday and I try to come on this page on Mondays if I possibly can. Now, recently I shared about my experience of some, serious enough lower back pain, did a couple of videos on that. And I mentioned that one of the things that I was doing to really help me was some breathing exercises to help free the diaphragm. And I had a couple of comments asking for this particular breathing exercise. And the thing is, I share this so much in all of my breathing classes and in workshops, and I was so sure that I had shared this here on Facebook already, but I couldn't actually find a recording of it nor on the YouTube channel. So I was like, okay, it's about time to share this breath. It's one of my absolute favorite breathing exercises, as I personally find it is so effective. I first learned this from Donna Fari, a beautiful teacher. If you have not heard of her, you should go and check her out. And then as I've been practicing it and again and again and again, and also teaching it and passing it on, I added a couple of, kind of like my own adaptations to it, and a couple of sort of different focuses that helped me personally. So the reason this is really helpful for me, I'm just going to make it out by the example of my lower back pain, which was muscular. And muscular randomly appearing pain is usually to do with some story that we're holding in the body, something emotional, anxiety, pain, that kind of tension. My lower back just locked up and I couldn't really move very well, and I sort of had to really navigate that. And movement was already a little bit challenging. But I one morning was doing my regular breathing class, and we did this breath, and I realized how much that helped. And this is something that I'm actually really taking from my work as a bodyworker therapist and osteotai practitioners from my treatments. I would always free up people's diaphragms, not just the main diaphragm, all of the diaphragms in the body, but definitely the main muscle, the diaphragm, our breathing muscle. And that is because we tend to hold so much anxiety, tension there, all of us. We can't breathe properly. But also, and this is the main reason, because it forms part of this diaphragmatic pressure system we have in the body that our body actually is. We are a closed container somewhat, and a liquid body, right? So that means there is a certain pressure that is contained inside of our body. And we already know that. We talk of blood pressure, for example, but it kind of actually works as the whole of the body holds a certain pressure. And so we breathe, and as we inhale, we increase the volume by somewhat. And then as we exhale, we deflate again and we release that pressure. That's one example of this pressure system in the body. We also use kind of creating a particular pressure and suction effect to move our cerebral spinal fluid around. And obviously our circulation system, our lymph system. All of the movement of fluids as well as gases, the interchange, relies on a well-functioning pressure system. And the diaphragms, and that includes the pelvic floor muscles, the diaphragm muscle, the kind of sort of inlet here at the first rib, here the base of the throat, we have another one, and then also a membrane that runs right through the skull, kind of creating another sort of dome shape like membrane. It's literally a membrane. So they are, as you can see, they are kind of stacked right on top of each other. And so with the movement of the diaphragm down and up and down and up, and with the breath, This needs to be in constant interchange and communication and in free flow and in free expression, so that every other kind of pressure functions in the body can fully resonate and interchange with that and be in relation. And so imagine the calling right through the body that has a really quite a significant big pressure movement and exchange. If that was stuck, and the impact that will have on the rest of the body, including our tissues, our fascia, the cells even have this expression of being able to move, expand, retract, communicate, and be in interrelation. And so when people come to me in a treatment, and particularly when they're suffering from some pain, like I'd say shoulder pain, lower back pain, I don't know, we can work on that building site, or also work on where we think it actually might be coming from, as it might always be when somebody experiences the pain. But it's very likely going to come back again and again if we don't also free up that internal diaphragmatic pressure system, because the work that we have done in the tissues or the joint, or wherever we've done some work, can't really fully integrate and resonate with the rest of the body if it kind of just hits a brick wall. It's a bit exaggerated, but if it was to hit a brick wall at this diaphragmatic pressure system, that might be stuck in somebody, which very often is. Hardly any one of us has a fully free-flowing, expressive diaphragmatic pressure system. Will be, all of us carry around some tension somewhere along the line. And so I have over the time really brought that into my yoga classes, actually, because there's something that we can really work on ourselves. Not that I want to talk anyone out of having a treatment with me, but I actually believe in empowering people to do some of this work by themselves, because it is so useful and so integral to dealing with any pain in the body. But for sure, it's obviously also a focus of my breathing practices that I share all the time. And this is, so I'm going to come to actually the actual exercise. So I tend to invite people to always sit on a chair. So for example, when I was having my real kind of lower back issues, I definitely wasn't very comfortable on the floor. And so why not sit on a chair? I'm actually sitting on a bouncy ball, but same. This way I can really ground myself. Feet flat on the floor, comfortable, grounding through the sit bones, giving my weight down. I need to hold less tension in, for example, the diaphragm, to hold myself upright. I can be a lot more at ease. And you could even be leaning back against the back of the chair if that is more comfortable. And I would also always do a few little movements to free up some of the muscular holding that we carry around and that we're not even aware of, but that actually can be almost sort of, I'm being quite flippant about it, but sort of be shaken off almost by doing a little bit of movement or a little bit of a stretch or literally a little shake. I'll spend about 10 minutes or so on that, and then would go into the breathing. So it's called the who breath, as in, who is this? Although I kind of spell it more kind of my German way, H-U, but you could also spell it W-H-O, I guess. And so it's not vocalized, as in the ooh is silent. However, we are pursing the lips and blowing the air out through the mouth. But we are making the H sound at the beginning. And we're making that as a continuous sound by pressing the back of the tongue up against the roof of the mouth. And by doing that, sort of closing a little bit the air pipe. And that means that we're sort of having to ever so slightly push the air out, and it's prolonged and steady. So it's not hoo and throwing the air away, but actually constricting it a little bit and therefore prolonging the exhalation. However long that might be going on for you, that's fine. And so the sound we are making is, maybe it might remind you of a seashell or like the ocean, wind. Some people say it's like Darth Vader. I don't know, whatever resonates with you, but that is the sound. And I don't know if Facebook and the mic is picking that up. So just as a little reference. And then we inhale through the nose every time. And so why don't we do it? Join me. We're going to do 10 rounds, which I like because I can literally count it on my fingers, pressing them into my thigh and not losing count too easily. Do it in your own time if you want to practice along. So don't follow my pace. Go at your own pace. If you need to take a break at any point, take a break and maybe you come back to it, or you pause until the end, as we're going to do another couple of rounds after. I'm going to give you a little indication when I'm coming to my 8th round, just in case you did lose count, and then you can join back in. But if you're happy on your 10 and you finish a little bit sooner than me, you have a choice to maybe take another breath or pause. If you want to take longer than I take, please take your time to finish. So go ahead and sit comfortably if you do want to join me here and have a play. You might want to close your eyes or have your eyes open. If you have your eyes open, I suggest you turn away from the screen. I'm not physically moving or doing anything, so you're not going to miss anything. And so when you're ready, join me. We inhale through the nose. I'm coming to my 8th round. And as and when you finish in your own time, take a moment, take a break, and notice what that feels like. And so as you're taking a break, just talk about this a little bit more. You might have noticed how, because we're having to push the air ever so slightly out, there is a sense of sort of building up some pressure somehow. You know, when we inhale, there's this a kind of sort of release of that, but letting the air come back in. And so you might have got a sense of, there's kind of something to do with playing with that pressure system. And of course, we are engaging a little bit the abdominals. Maybe on the next round, if you want, you could even place a hand on your abdomen. And stimulating the diaphragmatic action here, which obviously, coming to a diaphragmatic breathing is really where we want to get to. And that actually has another effect that it sends a message back to the brain that we are in a good place, that everything is okay, we're in a safe place, and actually also encourages a relaxation response in the nervous system. So that's kind of like it's not really a side effect of it, but it's another effect of this breathing. So we're going to do another 10 rounds. And so here is something that I like playing with, is the focus obviously is all in this exhale, because that's where the action lies. We are pushing and blowing the air out. But let's also bring our awareness to the inhale, not doing anything differently, but also paying some attention to the inhalation, equally to the attention we pay to the exhalation. So otherwise, everything is exactly the same. We'll do another 10 rounds, inhaling through the nose and then it out, with our focus equally spread between the inhale and the exhale. So if you want to join when you're ready, you can join me now. Inhaling through the nose and paying some attention. I'm coming to my 8th round. As and when you finish in your own time, take a moment, take a break here, continue breathing normally through the nose, and notice, what does that feel like now in your body, in your whole system, in your breathing? What do you observe? Yeah. If your body has the desire to move a little bit so you don't get too stuck in the way that you're sitting, please go ahead and move, or shake things off, or take a freestyle breath. All is welcome, or maybe you stay still and keep observing, as we're going to move into another set of 10. So sometimes I might just do 2 rounds of 10, and sometimes go into 3 rounds of 10, but no more than that, that's plenty. In the 3rd round of 10, I use the power of my imagination and imagine that I'm doing this breath with my whole body, like my entire body is my breathing organ. Inhaling into the whole body, with the whole body, and exhaling from the whole body. And really that's really just a visualization in a way, imagination. And so if you want to join me for that one too, make sure you're sitting comfortably, get settled, and then when you're ready you can join me for another round of 10, inhaling through the nose to start. I'm coming to my 8th round. And as and when you finish, continue to breathing normally through the nose again, and notice, observe what that might feel like in your body, in your whole system, in the way that you're holding yourself, maybe also in the way you're sitting, and also how your breathing feels now. Maybe observe the natural movement of the breath in your body. Where do you notice that? Do you notice the movement of the diaphragm, maybe even? And feel free to move a little bit, stretch, shake it off, take it off, freestyle. Deeper breath. So yeah, this is the exercise that I did a lot, helping me deal with my back pain recently. And yeah, I don't know, like if you have any kind of niggles and pains going on in your body and joint me, what do you notice? Did it help? I don't know. If not, it's also fine, of course. I'm just sharing my experience, yeah, and I find this useful. What else did you notice? I'm always curious to know and to hear from you if you have any questions. And also, I wonder whether you noticed a difference between the 3 different sets of 10 where we had a slightly different focus. And it might have been only like a tiny difference. And I wonder whether you noticed your rounds getting a little bit longer and the whole thing a little bit slower. And maybe you didn't realize, but if you were roughly in the rhythm that I was going in, then that was definitely happening for you, because I noticed how my rounds got longer and slower each time, focusing into the whole of the body. Generally with this breath, I also really notice like a difference in the way I'm holding myself, because this diaphragmatic pressure system we have going has a lot to do with our posture and the way that we are holding our holding patterns physically in the body. So maybe you notice a little difference there. Those of you who teach and share things with people, do go ahead and share this breath after maybe trying it a couple of times so you really realize what it does for you. And something I really love doing is maybe just doing one set of 10, even at the beginning of a class, as it does kind of have a grounding, calming effect on the nervous system. So it's a great way to let people really arrive and come into the present. But also because it does activate the diaphragm and frees things up already, and is a nice preparation to then move into your asana practice. So if you don't want to share the full thing, but this is also a really nice way to incorporate that into maybe your yoga classes or other sharings that you do. Or those of you who are Thai massage practitioners, it might be a really great thing to give away to your clients as something that they can do at home in between the sessions with you. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, observations, please do comment below. Always love hearing from you. Thank you for watching this and for playing with this breath. I hope you found that useful. Take care, everyone. Have a good week.